we'll be talking about transitioning from a traditional trial to a master protocol design. And just before moving forward, I would like to, I would like to restrict the scope of this talk towards the investigator-initiated clinical trials, mostly who are new to master protocol designs. Keeping in mind all the information fresh, which Chris has given us about the different types of master protocols, let's take one step back where we are more comfortable in designing and implementing traditional clinical trials, but still we want to keep this one window open to see whether we can transition to master protocol design, or whether even if it is even it is relevant to our case or not. So to go through this transition, there are 4 corners to explore. Why, sorry, it goes too fast. Why, how, when, and what type to choose. And when we query the literature for why and how, we see there is plenty of information available and rather structured information available. And to name some few, there are some nice guidance documents from CTTI initiatives. Some very nice deliverables came from EU Pearl. ECRIN has Adaptive Platform Trial Toolkit. Some good guidance from FDA, EMA. So there's plenty of material. But when we move to these 2 questions, when and what type to choose, sometimes we don't get structured information, and most of the times we find that this information is rather not relevant to our case, because these 2 questions, they are like precision medicine, and they are specific to each project, to each case. And to answer these 2 questions, you need to find a very nice amalgam or mixture of scientific question in place and also the operational feasibility. And here I would like to refer to Stephen's talk yesterday, who gave us the perspective that platform trials should be considered as infrastructures. And I would like to put this into a broader perspective that all master protocol trials, they are infrastructures. You need to find the right way to put that infrastructure, to set up that infrastructure, and then plug in your science in question. So, said that, the importance of operational feasibility, I would like to refer to this document from Emma about question and answers, which puts operational feasibility as an important consideration in planning and conduct of complex clinical trials. And because if this consideration is not a given, the trial logistics becomes too complex to handle, because these trials, they are not run single-handedly. It's not a one-man show, and there are different collaborators involved. There are multiple sponsors, multiple sites, different IMP manufacturers, and you need to find a common working ground to put that all in place and work together. And as said, you need this space which is unique to your project, because these trials are unique, and it should be dealt on case-by-case basis. So looking towards all this, within REMEDi4ALL, we have decided to come up with a guidance document, to work on a guidance document to address these queries. And the objective of the guidance document was to help investigators who are new to these designs and are working with the repurpose agent, to help them to decide when is the right time to consider the master protocol and what type to choose, and to ensure that the early on consideration has been given to this question, and just to see that even if it is relevant to your case or not, just this thought. So luckily, within REMEDi4ALL, we have 4 demonstrators, project 1 in preclinical phase and 3 in clinical phase, in different setup in phase 1, phase 2. So we took the advantages of our demonstrators, and in REMEDi4ALL, we are working very closely with our 4 demonstrators and refining the platform on the basis of their experiences. So we sit together with our clinical demonstrators, and we pitch them some questions. I cannot show the whole interviews here, but some relevant questions we pitched together was, is the question relevant to your project or not? Did you thought about it that whether you can move towards master protocol design, will it relevant, or maybe it will come in future? What is the right time? And when will be a right time to discuss about it? So considering all this and taking their perspectives, one thing came into consideration that they do not want the guidance to be in the form of long Shakespeare books, and they want a very direct guidance and adaptable, which they can see where they are and what can be the next step. So we decided that we would like to create some kind of a document in the form of decision tree where they can see where they are, how to move forward, and what questions to consider, and what are the challenges upcoming. So for this, the very first question is a master protocol even relevant to your situation or not? And to see these questions, there are two perspectives that should be dealt separately. And the first perspective is, are there other drug candidates for this disease? And for that, you need to go back to the literature, do your horizon scanning. And if the answer is yes, so then we have made this decision tree. And if you have found that, yes, there are other drug candidates, the foundational question is the status of the medicinal product, because it will define the further complexity of your trial. So the ideal case is, yes, there is a drug, market, it's approved, and we can use as it is, but it can be just a dream. So then we go to other questions. Okay, if there is the drug we cannot use as it is, it's not marketed, what are the other situations? It's investigational, we need to change form, or it's not even authorized, it's not manufactured. So these kind of questions, and then we move towards a tree. And the second question is that could the investigational medicinal product treat other diseases clinically relevant to the first disease? So the first thing to consider, are there other clinical related disease which with the first disease in interest? If yes, then is there a scientific or pharmacological irrelevance that the drug candidate can treat the other disease or not? And it's a very clear go and no-go in this case. And then if no, then you stop there. If yes, and then you move forward and start looking at the logistics of the trial, how it's going to look like. So, yeah, this is just a brief overview. And some takeaway notes that the key to adapt a master protocol trial is to keep your mind open and just analyze your situation, that with the complexity and potential benefits, is it relevant to your situation or not? And it is not mandatory to adapt a master protocol trial, but the important thing is the consideration that the question has been considered and at the right time. And last, sometimes all the stars are not aligned and you don't find the clarity of relevance. So for such projects, there is an approach of putting a placeholder. It can be considered to move forward. And within REMEDi4ALL, we have this concierge where you can reach out. So if you have a project, you want to discuss the specifics with us, reach out to us via concierge, scan, and we can have one-to-one talk. And yeah, thank you.